My name is Zibai. I was once known to mortals as the White Horse Adeptus, but now that I have descended to the mortal plane, you may simply call me Zibai.
I did not expect to get her. I have to, I don't even know if everything is set up correctly right now. I didn't expect to get Zibai at all. Oh my god, what do I do? So, as you can tell, this is a Zibai video where that I am going to be building Zibai and her team. So, for this video, I actually changed her sword. I put her on the Harbinger of Dawn. I don't know if I have it to R5. I probably don't. But I ended up getting her some really good artifacts, and she is a really good DPS, but I ended up getting her really late, so I wasn't able to use her in any of the recent domains or anything. So I ended up having to just quickly build her so that I could, be able to use her later, but I couldn't use her in any of the Spiral Abyss or the Imaginarium Theater. So it was a little bit hard for me to actually do those without her being fully built. Right now in this part, I am just going through collecting glaze lilies and, just going through that motion of collecting all the resources and stuff for her since I don't have them. This is actually my exploration team, which is Paressa, Xilonen, Kazuha, and I believe it's Furina. But I ended up changing it to some other characters, like, for example, Yanfei, because she has the local specialties. So I ended up using her for a lot of this just to be able to find the glaze lilies and being able to find just the local specialties of what Zibai needs. And I was initially going to have this at 3 or 5x speed, but then I was like, this is supposed to be ASMR. This is not supposed to be a fast video. So, it's supposed to be cozy, it's supposed to be slow paced, it's not supposed to be big and in your face and everything like that. So I just slowed it back down so that it's regular speed, and you guys will be seeing me throughout the next 30 minutes and talking for the next 30 minutes of either collecting glaze lilies and collecting just all of the resources that I need. Now, not all of this is glaze lily collecting. I do collect some of these off camera, but this is just for the initial part of getting Zibai's initial materials and collecting what she needs to level up. Now, I believe I have her at level 40 because that was the initial materials that they gave us during the Lantern Rite. So I was able to get her up to at least level 40, I believe. So I ended up getting her up to level 80 at some point, so there is that part. But this is just the initial first parts of collecting these and making sure that I have enough to be able to level her up to the point that I need her to be. So around 13 minutes in is when this glaze lily collecting will end, because like I said, I'm not going to have this fast speed, it's just me collecting, and it'll be me being authentic, and rather than trying to make it fast speed so that I can, not talk as much, I'm just going to let things play out and let things be as they naturally are. So enjoy this collecting of glaze lilies while I just talk and ramble into the microphone. So I don't remember what the last video was about because it's been actually a little bit since I've actually recorded voiceover. So I don't remember what the last thing I talked about was, but right now, I'm actually pretty excited because I need to sign up for the GRE, which is basically the ACT but for graduate students, and that's how I understand it. and hopefully I can get into my graduate program and pass it. I didn't make very good grades in my main courses, but that's because I took some psychology classes while I was in high school, and while I was not medicated for ADHD, so I struggled a lot with them. And when I transferred to my main university, I ended up taking some really hard classes. Like, there was a class that is known for people getting D's and failing it and having to retake it like 5 or 6 times before they pass it. So I ended up getting some really bad grades because of those hard classes. One of my low grades is completely my fault because I just didn't study enough. But the other ones, like, there was a class called Learning and Memory, and that class is just generally hard. But it's not that hard because it takes a little bit for information to sink into my brain. So there is that part, but it is generally just hard stuff to learn. Now, the other class was social psychology, and I love social psychology. It's fun, it's great, I actually do like it. It's not like my favorite. I like cognitive psychology more, but it was really hard. Like, the stories that my professor told was funny and great, and he made the information digestible, but it was just his tests that were hard. So there was that to go along with, his classes. Going from a community college, a very small community college, to a mid-size or small university was like, I call it mid-size, but it's actually a small university. So going from an extremely small community college to a small but not extremely small university was a eye-opening experience. So it made me really reevaluate whether or not I wanted to go into psychology or not. But I liked it. I like psychology, and it's what I want to pursue. So I really enjoyed being in it, and what I learned throughout my time being at these colleges, and it was just, I wish I had done more being on campus, but I didn't. So I wish that I had actually done more and actually been on campus for everything and lived on campus, but I live at home. I didn't really have the money to live on campus, so I just lived at home because I lived close by. So I just didn't do that. But it was nice, it was fun, it was enjoyable, and I don't regret my years being at university. So I finally figured out how to get it to queue before I actually start recording. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. I was mainly talking about, university and everything, and, spending time there. I really do miss it. It gave me a sense of structure and a sense of belonging. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe I did use it to cope because studying and being in a school setting is all I've known, so it's really hard for me to try and adjust to the real world. So I mainly, I guess, used it to cope with everything, and so that I didn't have to get a job, go to school forever, don't get a job, but it's not like that's possible. So I ended up just, I'm taking a gap semester, and it kind of sucks, having to, study for the GRE, study for, keep on studying because school never ends when you have a bachelor's in psychology, because you're gonna have to get more schooling out of the way because a bachelor's doesn't really do much. And I know people say, oh, you can do a lot of things. A lot of those things require a certification. A certification that I don't have. So it's a little harder for me to get a degree in something, especially when it's in a rural area such as where I live. So it's not that easy to be able to find places for me to live at, or for me to work at. so that I can actually survive and, you know, be in the field that I like being in. Because I live in a very small town. Like, we recently just opened up a wellness center, and all of their spots are completely gone. So I could not even apply to go over there. And a lot of the people in my county are against it because they're like, we don't want a wellness center. We don't want an inpatient center because they're prejudiced. I know they're prejudiced, but it's hard. I'm not gonna deny that. It's hard trying to look for a job, especially with the job market right now. So I'm just trying my best and trying what I can do and what I can be with what I have. So we're almost towards the end of the Glaze Lily collecting. After I get done collecting in Liyue Harbor and in the other place, I forget what it's called, and I don't want to guess because I don't want to accidentally be wrong, but it's after we get done collecting the Glaze Lilies, we move on to actually fighting Zibai's boss and building the other characters like Illua and Aino. I end up getting them to 70 and Goro is at 80. I actually have the 2.0 characters video made. I just need to record a voiceover for it. And from that video, I don't have it on there, but I do have a few artifacts on him so that it's actually a fully functional team instead of just being like, oh, Goro's up to level 80, but he's not like built for anything. He actually has an artifact set on him. So I just thought maybe I could use him with this team because I've seen a lot of people say, hey, using Columbina and Zibai and Illua and Goro is a good team, but I don't have Columbina, so I'm using Aino. So I just figured that would be a good enough team. For the in progress team, I use Furina and Xilonen a lot, and Illua, and that's a pretty good team. So I'm not gonna, like, I'm gonna be honest where that's a pretty good team in and of itself, but it's not the best team, I think. I ended up being wrong, and the place that I was talking about was Jingsi Village. Actually, this part is actually 15 minutes long because I actually had to cut some parts out. So there's 15 minutes of the Glaze Lilies collecting. Here I am going to Miss Bai, where that she has a bunch of, or some Glaze Lilies. She doesn't have a lot of Glaze Lilies, but she does have 3, so I thought that was at least good enough for me to buy from her. I do end up collecting some more, but I end up just buying some from her and leveling up Zibai from there. But until then, I just collect some from Chinue Vale, and yeah, there was a part that I had to cut out, which was just me looking in the far part of Liyue before Chinue Vale, but it wasn't exactly, I didn't find anything, so I just cut it out of the video, because it said that they were Glaze Lilies there, but I couldn't find them, so I just ended up cutting it out of the video. So I just left it, which is why you see that big cut in the middle of the parts. So that's kind of where that part ended up being. So this is why it kind of just skips over from me looking in one part to Miss Bai to now me climbing a mountain to get to some Glaze Lilies and hoping that I don't run out of stamina. Because I think I actually run out of stamina, but I end up using Xilonen's skill to get up the mountain. This next part is literally just me fighting her boss and I kind of fail miserably at it. No, this isn't the one I fail miserably at. It's really funny. I fail at the knuckle duckle. I really love saying that for some reason, the knuckle duckle. But, I end up having to restart and retry the knuckle duckle a couple of times before I get it right. And it ends up being kind of like I need to find the right team to be able to defeat the knuckle duckle, and it's not as easy as I thought it would be. Here I am just healing my characters and making sure that I can actually defeat the monster, the boss. It's actually not that hard. I just end up I don't use meta teams or quote unquote meta teams, and I just use whatever team works for me. So I end up just using this team that does defeat it, does the job, and does the type of stuff that I need it to do. Although one thing I don't know is why I put Mizuki back on the team when it's the exploration team and I put Kazuha on there first. Because Kazuha gathers up the materials so that I don't actually have to, collect them all. So I'm kind of wondering about that. I ended up bringing the mic just a little bit closer, but one thing that I don't figure out until much later is that I can defeat the boss while it's in this abyssal corrosion mode, and I'm actually really bad at defeating this boss because of that part, where that it just one-shots me. I use Farina at that part because as long as I have her at healing mode, while it's continuously healing her, I can then, mitigate it one-shotting me if I have her at least at half health, or while I have her at full health, it brings her to half health. So it doesn't exactly one-shot me, or one-shot my characters that have, the large HP. And like I said, this boss isn't that hard. I actually do like fighting it, so I end up just, grinding it over the few days while I build Zibai. I don't know why I haven't shown me leveling her up yet, but I think I do at this next part. Yeah, I do. I end up having a lot of materials for her, or I thought I did. Maybe I know I should have had more than that because I had more when I did the event. So maybe I didn't collect all of it as much as I thought I did. I do end up leveling her up to level 80, but not level 90. I will eventually end up leveling her up to level 90, and possibly Illua to level 80, because I have those two at level 70 right now. But, okay, I was wrong. I get her up to level 50 instead of level 40. But that is just the beginning of the long road of getting her leveled up. I end up building Illua and next, I believe, because I have them both up to level 40. I don't think I have Illua leveled up. Yeah, I don't have him leveled up yet, but I have leveled up to level 40, so I end up grinding for her boss and Illua's boss, which again, they're not very hard bosses. They're actually pretty easy. For me, they're not one-shot worthy, but it's close enough for that it's easy for me to defeat them. So right now, I'm just looking for some of the amber stuff for Illua, and I think no, that's not the part. I ended up doing like a puzzle or something while I was looking for some of Illua's stuff. So I don't think that's in this video, and I don't think I recorded it, but I just remembered it. So I end up just doing like a random puzzle out of nowhere for no reason and just end up just doing that puzzle. I do have the Silken Moon's Serenade on him. I can't exactly see it. Silken Moon's something. Serenade, probably. And I don't know why I had it, but I just had extra pieces on there. So I didn't put random pieces on him. I put them on there for a reason, but I just had random, like, ones that I had from grinding. So I ended up just putting them on him. And then I think I have the same set on I think this is also the part where I change from using I forget what her name is, Kachina. I end up using Kachina's artifacts on Goro. So I end up changing her artifacts to Goro's artifacts because he, as far as I know, he can use defense. So I just put the defense artifacts on him. So I ended up just putting those artifacts on him. And yeah, that's my team because Kachina I think she does like a defense shred or something, but then I was like, I think I should change it. So I ended up putting Goro on that team and using Kachina's artifacts on Goro. So that's it for that part of the build. So I think right now I've gotten his stuff ready. This is the next day, or this is like a day after or something, and I end up just having to, grind out these, I think they're called drive shafts or something, and I end up just collecting them, or like grinding them, so, because I don't have a lot of them, so I end up just going around the map and just grinding those out and making sure that I have enough to level up Aino and Ilua. To get back to off-topic things, I've been writing a lot more. I want to talk about my writing stuff, but it doesn't seem like those get views or anything, so I just figured that I would talk about them here, just as like a little side-off and everything. If any of you don't know, I'm a writer, and I actually have a work-in-progress novel right now, and it's gone through a lot of iterations, but right now it is it's a sapphic pirate ex-princess book, and the princess is kind of loosely based off of Elsa and Rapunzel, so there is that in mind when it comes to like the backstory for the character. But it's not exactly one-to-one like Rapunzel and one-to-one Elsa. So it's kind of just, it looks like it's related to it, but it's not. Like, it's not just like, oh, it's obvious that this is based off of Rapunzel, or oh, this is obvious it's based off of Elsa. It's not. It's just, it's not for marketing purposes, but it is to get like a main view of what I'm getting at in terms of her backstory. But the backstory is like, she's locked up, she's been locked up, she doesn't know she has powers, but she does, and yeah, that's kind of the main backstory of the princess. The pirate is one of my past characters. I'm just reusing characters from past, stories so that I don't have to make up new characters. So I end up just making up, not new characters, but reusing past characters from other stories so that I don't have to make up new characters. Because it's not that I'm reusing them out of laziness, it's that I have actual art of these characters, and I don't want that art to go to waste, so I'm reusing them with the purpose of having this art be like a physical representation of my characters. So that's kind of the reason why I end up reusing a lot of the characters from previous ideas and everything. actually, that's kind of, I don't like to promote myself that much, but that's kind of the reason why I have like commissioned me through VGEN down at the bottom, or support me on Ko-Fi, because I will write people stories and everything. I obviously change things for copyright reasons, but I write stories for people, so that's kind of, you know, what I do and where I get most of my money. So that's kind of how I get money without having a full-time job. It's kind of just something that I do on the side and as a hobby. So it's not something that takes up a lot of my time. In fact, I'm actually working on 2 commissions right now. One is a fanfiction and one is it's kind of a fanfiction. It involves a, you know, media, but it's like after like the main cast and everything are dead and everything, so it's kind of like they could make it into their own story if they wanted to, but it's still based off of like the main storyline. But there's that, and then there's a lore story that I'm writing for I believe they're a VTuber, but I'm not entirely sure. And also, when it comes to like promoting my stuff or like having a portfolio, VGEN has a built-in portfolio so that you can post it to your portfolio, but I don't exactly share like who the people are that I'm writing it about. Like I don't share names of who is associated with what, so it's kind of just like random of just like, oh, this is like a fanfiction of a random story, like and it's a commission, but it's not tied to any specific person, so it doesn't like show off who, you know, commissioned it or anything. And that's for anonymity purposes, because I understand that a lot of people like to keep their anonymity, so I just keep it like that for purposes that, you know, keep it directly away from the commissioner. But if people decide to, you know, share that, hey, this is my commission, or this is what I commissioned, you know, this person for, then they're free to do that. Like, it's not an NDA. I don't make people sign an NDA unless they want, like, ghostwriting, which is a real thing. Like, you know, people ask for, like, ghostwriting and everything, and, you know, they have to pay extra for it, but it is, you know, possible for me to, you know, not share it, and they don't, and they say they wrote it, so it's just like, they're allowed to. And when it comes to like ghostwriting, you know, people have like ethical qualms about it, where it's just like, it's no different than AI. It is different than AI, because even though you're not the one writing it, it's still a human behind the story writing it. It's not like a computer generated thing where that this person is just writing like stuff ChatGPT spits out. Like it's actual human, the human behind the writing, or as far as we know. And I say that because, you know, people can lie. I don't want to say that I wouldn't lie. I don't lie, but, you know, some people can lie and say, oh yeah, I wrote it, when actually they didn't write it. But that's just, you know, me giving out guesstimates and everything, like a guest like theory and everything. But, you know, ghostwriting is still a feasible thing for people to do, and I don't believe it's like it's the same thing as AI or anything, because it's not asking the chatbot, it's asking a human to help you and everything. Like, the person still works with you on the story, you're just the one writing it. So and plus people get paid a lot of money for that, so it's not like it's just, you know, it takes a lot of dedication to do that. So it's not just like, oh, I'm doing this just to spend money. Like, no, it's for both people to profit off of it. So it's not just like I don't believe it's a ethical concern. I didn't realize how much of this video was just me exploring and me going around the map hunting for like items and stuff, but here it is. I'm hunting for, you know, those shaft thingies. And you know, just hunting for these like mechanicals and for Aino's character. And I believe I do show that I do have it up to level 70, like I have both of them up to level 70, or that I'm getting them up to level 70. They're both at level 70 now, but I don't remember if I recorded it. I know I should have, but I don't think I did. Or at least I don't remember if I did. But yeah, this is just me collecting stuff for Aino, and I believe I collected stuff for Illua. I will one day get them up to level 80, but right now they're at level 70, and I will, you know, build them whenever I get the chance. It's just that I don't have the resin to do that. So this is me leveling her up to level 60. As I said, I have her up to level, you know, 70, and so I actually go like Mora hunting, and I think that's what I do, not right at this moment, but what I do later on outside of the recording. It's just me like Mora hunting and doing Mora ley lines. So this is the team I was talking about with like Zibai, Illua, Fiorina, and Xilonen. For that, this team does do a good job, and I do like it, but it's not the team that is suggested. And I think, as you can tell from the cut, that I do have Illua, like I do have more Mora on Illua, and I do level him up, like level up his talents. I don't think I have his talents necessarily leveled up right now, but I do plan to level them up whenever I get the time. So I'm hoping that I can do that off camera and, you know, make sure that I can, you know, get him to a good spot. Here I am just leveling up his artifact so that it does more geo damage, and hoping that it does at least something. I still don't have like good artifacts for him like I do Zibai, because I know she has like crit rate, crit damage, defense, and I think elemental mastery, so there is some good artifacts for her. Whenever I get the time, I will show her off in another video, but for right now I am just building these characters for the video and making sure that they're built for the time being. Right now, I believe Zibai is at level 70, so she does not, you know, astounding damage, but she does some damage, and as you can tell, it does do some more damage than what my previous team was doing, but I don't think, I kind of need that constant hydro application to be able to do the constant lunar crystallize, which I think Aino does, but I don't remember if, you know, she does it constantly. This is what I mean by healing my characters and before the thing attacks, is that like as long as Fiorina is above the halfway mark, she will not be as like, it won't kill her all the way, it won't one-shot her. So as long as I keep her above that, you know, level, it won't kill her as much. As you can tell, I kind of had a little bit of trouble getting her pets out because it kept on interrupting my attacks. That's one thing that I don't like about this boss, is that it interrupts my attacks so often that it's a little hard for me to actually, you know, defeat it. And I know that if you sprint while it attacks you, that there's kind of like a buffer where that it doesn't exactly like there's a window where that you don't get damage, but I'm not good at that. Like I said, I don't build my teams for meta purposes. I just build them because I like them. I try to be meta, but I don't have the weapons to do that. And I probably am not good enough to be meta, so I just leave them as is. I do plan to, this is off topic, but I do plan to do some like exploration videos where that I explore like the rest of Sumeru, explore the rest of like Inazuma, and my percentages on there are good. Like I do have a couple of places that are 100% in Inazuma, and a couple of places that are, I don't have 100% in Liyue, but I do have like some places that are like 95, 96. So it's just a matter of doing some of the like probably some world challenges and collecting some chests. So I do plan to, 100% like Liyue at one point if I can. But for right now, I'm just not really in the mood to do it. But I do plan to do it one day, or at least in the parts where it's just like a dry spell where I don't have like the motivation to, record anything, so I just do it then. As you can tell, as I said, I'm not very good at this game. I actually lose a lot. And right now, I only have like 2 characters left on field, which is Furina and Xilonen, because I used up my food on Zibai, who died immediately after. So, as you can tell, I'm not good at the game. I try to be, but I'm just not. But yeah, this is getting near the end of the video. I do have an outro, but I believe that's about like a minute or so. So I will just continue to ramble until I get to that point. There's actually one place in Mondstadt that I don't have 100%, and that's at 99%, and that annoys the hell out of me, and I can't find whatever it is, so hopefully someone can help me, but I'm hoping that I can find it either on my own, or either in some way, or just, just hoping that I can get it to 100%. So I hope you all have a good day and or night, and that this was relaxing and, kind of like ASMR and slow paced, and that this is just something you can put on in the background. So I'm hoping it is relaxing and cozy and aesthetic for you. And that's kind of the reason why I didn't, put this on at like 5x speed or 3x speed, because it's meant to be slow, it's meant to be relaxing, it's meant to be ASMR and cozy. So I hope you guys have a good day and or night, and that you come back for another video.